Hey everybody, welcome into Siren Records Monterey, and it is not Fresh Catch Friday, it's actually Love Wednesday, where Cass and I have decided just to create the love show for you this week, and because we're leading up to Valentine's Day, and we thought you guys might need some help if you're buying something on vinyl for your significant other, or if you just have somebody that, hey, meh, I like you, but you don't want it to be too heavy. I mean, we've got stuff that goes across the board. So anyway, we've each picked four not sweet Valentines and one anti-Valentine, and then we've got a bunch of stuff that just the obvious choices that we'll run through with you as well. So anyway, starting with where we'll go back and forth. Cass will start us off, and we're going to start with the sweet stuff first. Okay, so what did you find?
All right, first I'd like to pick this, a bit of a recent revelation for me. Duran Jones,
good
An
one.
Indication, American Love Call.
Mm-hmm.
Duran Jones, I think they're from Chicago.
It's I was thinking, was it Michigan, Wisconsin? It's something like that.
Yeah, something you wouldn't really expect. But yeah, this is their second album. They're a very retro, old school sounding soul band. Definitely hints of Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield. Very retro, but they do throw in some modern sounds here and there with some synths and stuff like that. But all the songs very heartfelt. Duran Jones' voice is incredible. His knack at writing melodies and hooks is incredible as well. Very catchy stuff on here. And like I said, very heartfelt stuff. His lyrics about, love, lost love, a broken heart. But most of it is how much love he has for someone. I don't know if he has a special someone or not. It seems like he does. But there's some songs where it says, like he can't love her any more than he already does. Like his whole heart is loving her with all its might. So hopefully this woman, whoever she is, loves him back. I really hope she does. He's really pouring his heart out. But it's a great record, and they're just a great band. And we're going to go see them in a few months in Felton.
Yeah.
So come check it out.
That's
this
right.
1995 too. Great deal.
Oh, good one. What a good choice, Cass. You surprised me with that one. I didn't see that coming. Okay, my first one for you is just going to be Prince Forever. And this is 40 of Prince's greatest hit songs over 4 LPs. I mean, I was just kind of faced with the dilemma of what's the sexiest Prince album? It's like, any of his works would pretty much qualify. So just go for this kind of big hits collection, and then you get everything, as well as, singles, deep album cuts, and B-sides. But anyway, there's not really what you would call essential tracks because there's just too many to count. It's all good. And it's $58.95 for these 4 LPs. Just for a little aside, for me personally, if it's got Diamonds and Pearls and Thieves in the Temple, those 2 songs are so amazingly romantic in my humble opinion. So that was my first pick. Okay,
Nice.
Back to you.
All right, can't have Valentine's without Prince. That's for sure. Okay, next up, I have Flower Boy, Tyler the Creator. Might not be the first thing that comes to mind for most when you think of Valentine's Day, but this is one of those albums where I wanted all mine to be like a person like truly in love with someone, not like getting their heart broken, not like a breakup album, because that's not really what you want to listen to on Valentine's Day. You're in love, So this album for Tyler the Creator, huge moment in his career and a huge moment in music where, he was an artist that before had very like edgy sort of like, very hardcore hip hop and rap stuff. And then he was kind of hinting towards this more soul influence, poppy sound. And with this album, he blew everyone away, myself included, one of my favorite albums of that year. And it's just filled with these great, great heartfelt songs about love and a person he loves. And on this album, he also came out as well. So it was a big deal for a lot of people, especially Tyler. I think a lot of people didn't really see that coming, given his lyrics in the past. But like I said, the whole album, like the classic song, the one with Kali Uchis, See You Again, perfect love ballad. Great, great song, and something you would have never thought Tyler, the Creator, would write in his career. But it's just a great song, and the whole thing is filled with them. So check it out. I'm loving it, and if you've heard Igor, the new one, that's more of a breakup album, but that's also kind of a good album for Valentine's Day too. So check it out. It's $31.90.
Okay.
Actually, 30. Is this one 31?
Is it a double?
Actually, no, $29.95.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it is a double.
Oh, okay. Very good. All right, so I'm sure you guys, if you watch us, you know this one was coming for me. This is Jim James' Eternally Even. This came out in 2016, and it's an exceptionally good album. It's different from his first solo album. This was his second solo album, okay? It's very different from the first one, and it's very different from My Morning Jacket. This is just a series of lovely, soulful grooves built around like organ drones and subdued guitars, electric piano, and down-tempo funk beats. But, the thing about this is he brings real poetic shape and power to his politics. But if you're the kind of person that, isn't necessary for you to be like lyrically involved in every single one, it's just the vibe of this album is so romantic. And there's a song on here that is called World's Smiling Now, and it is like one of the best love songs. That's my jam. I love that so much. And the thing is, from 2016, I remember when this first came out, and every time I listen to it, it's like with new ears. It's always fresh. It's always on the money for me. But anyway, super romantic, beautiful record. We have it on gold vinyl. It's a very rewarding musical experience, let's say that, okay? And it's $17.95, which is such a good deal. And gosh, I just can't imagine who wouldn't love this if you got into it. Okay.
It's a great record.
It is. So, third.
Okay, this one. Surprised you didn't pick this one. Father John Misty, I Love You, Honey Bear. Excellent record. His sophomore album. This was my introduction to Father John Misty. And I knew, he was in Fleet Foxes and whatnot, but they kept playing Chateau Lobby on Sirius, and I think that's how a lot of people I know got into Father John Misty. And this whole album, it's basically just a love album. It's about Father John Misty's relationship. I think he was married to the woman this album's about.
They got married.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're still together, but
yeah, they are.
They are? Okay, so it's about his wife, and the whole album filled with love songs dedicated to her, about the rocky relationship that he had. Most of it good, sometimes bad. But, if you've heard Father John Misty, he usually has a very satirical, humorous take on a lot of things. And he does that with love as well. A lot of great one-liners on here. A classic line that made me think, who is this guy, was in Chateau Lobby. He says, "Tear off your wedding dress that someone was probably murdered in." Such a weird line, but I was just like, who says that shit,
No, but it probably was,
Exactly. It's just so funny. And then he's just a great songwriter. And I'm a huge fan of his, but no album really hit me as hard as this one. Still my favorite. And every song on it, beautiful. So check it out. He really is one of the great songwriters of the last decade. And can't wait to see what he does next.
I love him. No, so you want to know what? I did pick it.
Oh, shit.
I picked it too. And,
God.
it's like no matter how complex or torturous the thinking behind the lyrics is, there's an effortless ease about these tunes. It's easy to stop trying to figure out who's supposed to be talking, what they mean, and whether they mean what they mean. It's just, you can really just kind of relax into this album, or you can like really get into it. Again, if you're a person that likes to dive into lyrics, there is plenty here. Just as Cass said, there's a juxtaposition between from the sublime to the ridiculous, from the in love to in hate. There's always this like duality, and it's just, he's got such a great turn of a phrase. He's such a good writer. He's got such good taste, and
Absolutely.
This album, the other, like before this, it was a little Fear Fun, it was kind of, it had some like goofy themes to it, and drugs and running around and all that kind of stuff. It was a great record though. But this one also brings in more sophisticated instrumentation. There's like mariachi music that gets like woven in here that you would think, how would that ever work? But anyway, there's the gritty details of a relationship's complexity, based on his own relationship with Emma and eventually getting married to her. The only track on here that isn't like a personal meditation on love is "Born in the USA," and that was like, it's more of kind of like a Randy Newman noodling around on the piano, social commentary, but that's still a great tune anyway. This is give this a listen. It's like, give it the warm the warm treatment it deserves. It is such a good record. Anyway,
Definitely a masterpiece.
2 LPs with a digital download for $19.95, which is also a great price. So yes,
Absolutely.
we
And
agree.
I think the song "When You're Smiling in a Stride
Oh,
Mate" that is
great.
one of my favorite love songs.
That's kind of got that
Beautiful.
soulful groove to it
Does.
too. That is
So
just
good.
what is it about soul music that is so romantic? I don't know.
I don't know. There's just something about it.
Yep, but that is a great song as well. You're so
It
right.
is.
All right, and now
right.
your fourth.
So this would be my number one love album.
Ah.
Very excited. I was bummed I couldn't talk about this in our year-end list, but this is Caroline Polachek, Pang, and she is still in Chairlift, electronic duo, but she's kind of decided to take a solo step here, and it is a very, very successful step. I'm a fan of Chairlift, but this honestly is just so much better than anything I've heard from them, or at least I love it so much more. And I didn't really get into this till the end of the year, but if I had, I think it's definitely one of my favorites of last year. Just some really perfectly crafted pop tunes on here. It's also a little artsy, but it's not like too like noisy. It's not like a Bjork or like a FKA Twigs, where it's so like abstract that it's almost like kind of loses that pop sensibility. It's very catchy stuff on here with some great interesting instrumentation. And the whole album is about her relationship with her husband and how much she loves him. Classic songs like So Hot, You're Hurting My Feelings, Caroline Shut Up, which is her literally saying she loves him too much, and Hit Me Where It Hurts. Really, really great songs on here. And this usually isn't something I would be into as much. You know, I wasn't into like the Charlie XCX album. I'm just not like a big pop guy, but just her voice is insane, and she's such a great singer, and she does some crazy like vocal, I don't even know what you'd call them, like freakouts, where it just sounds like there's one song it sounds like a guitar solo, and a lot of people thought it was, but it's actually her voice through like effects,
Wow.
just going up and down, and
Wow.
beautiful, beautiful record. Incredible record, and I just can't stop listening to it, honestly. Past month,
nice.
I probably heard it like 20 times.
Is that on colored vinyl?
This one, Candace, my coworker, ordered online. We're getting the black vinyl this Friday, finally, but there are colored ones out there, and hopefully we can get them eventually, too. But when we get the black one in, it's going to be $21.95.
Okay,
So,
good.
check it out.
Ah, okay, good
So
choice. I wasn't, I like her voice as well. I'm not real fond of the guy's voice in Chairlift. I think he ruins
Yeah.
it a lot of the time. So, like you were saying, you're kind of a Chairlift fan. I'm not. I really like her voice, but I'm not a big fan of that. But still, nice pick. Okay, so for what I think is like the most romantic album of all time, it is Boom. It is Roxy Music Avalon. This is their final proper studio album that was released in 1982. It's been praised for years for its like seductive vibe. And I totally agree. It's like a slow burner from start to finish, and it mixes glam, a new wave, soulful undercurrent going on. See again with the soul, right? But
Yeah.
Brian Ferry's voice, it just lends itself to that. I think another kind of a Valentine one would be his solo album, Boys and Girls. But anyway, we're talking about this. If you're looking to set the mood, I promise you this one never fails. It is $24.95, and there is a weird little thing about this album, like it's just got, I don't know why they pressed them like this, but you see how it's like, it's a little bit outsized, and so fitting it in your record collection is kind of a drag, and because it's
Packing it is a real drag,
yeah,
too.
because I don't know, it's a little bit wider and a little bit higher, but anyway, maybe for what a lot of times what I do in my place, I have one of those little wooden bars, and I just always stick it there to display it instead of trying to file it away. But anyway, what a good record, and this is also a record I like to listen to when it's raining outside and you're just kind of hanging out. It's just got that very emotional, very great vibe. But anyway, it's a winner. And now we're going to move on to our Anti-Valentine, because of course not everybody's about hearts and flowers, right?
Yeah, there's some single people out there, so this is, I mean, I guess, okay, so my pick, it's not exactly an anti-love one, but it's not a very happy record either. It's Slowdive Souvlaki. This is one of my favorite records of all time. Pretty much changed my life when I first heard it. Classic shoegaze record. But the reason this album is so interesting is that the vocals sung by Neil and Rachel, they were actually together for a long time during this record's creation and before that, and they broke up during the recording process. So a lot of the songs are about each other, and it's just kind of interesting that they could sing these songs, these love songs about each other. and still continue the band. So I really like this record for that reason. I mean, it's kind of like a happy love record at the same time, because a lot of heartfelt songs about being in love and lost love, but there's a couple songs where they're both singing, and they're singing about each other, and it hits pretty hard, honestly. So I think this is good if you're just hanging out on your own on Valentine's Day, or if you're with a special someone. It's a very emotional record. Highly recommend it. Just for any day, not even just Valentine's Day. It's just a great goddamn record. So
okay,
please
music.
listen
That's
to
music on vinyl. It's probably kind of pricey. What is that?
Yeah, it is. It's $31.95. It's a little pricey, but they just did this color pressing on like this black smoke that's really beautiful.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So check it out. Great record.
Okay. All right. So for my pick for your Anti-Valentine, we've talked about this for Fresh Catch before. This is the great Donovan Barube. This is Endlessly Won't Last for Long. In some ways, this album for him is kind of a nice way to close this chapter of his life. He, a very interesting guy. Again, at 17 years old, he left his family, his friends behind, because he kind of ditched the Jehovah Witnesses, and that was how he grew up in his family. So he had absolutely no one. Went out on his own, ended up meeting his wife, Jacqueline. They kind of worked in a pizza place together, and they decided to start playing music. So they were Blessed Feathers. There's a couple of albums of theirs that are out, also extremely good. But anyway, after time, as things happen, they, ended up getting divorced, and this is his like cathartic working through it. And you can tell, like, some of these song titles will tell you what I'm talking about. Love is a Dog from Hell, Treat Me Right or Leave Me Alone, Endlessly Won't Last for Long, Can I Lean on You, Suicide, A Loner. Again, he's just working through his stuff. But what a great voice, right? Really great voice, very talented musician. This is on that, they're calling it clay colored vinyl, but it's actually pink. And this is one that we have, there's numbered, Golden Boss. We have number 118 here, and then I think there's another one out on the shelf as well. But anyway, these are only $16.95. There also comes on a pink cassette, so that's kind of a juxtaposition. You've got the lovely pink with, a very damaged thing. But anyway, his changes in his life and relationships, they encapsulated that entire period of his life. And so this is a real kind of a diary, a real portrait of a disappointment, So anyway, so recommend this. He's great. And this is the cassette. What did we say? $7.99. Okay, if you can get those here. Now the other thing is, if you guys want to buy and you're not local, we have been on Reverb, but Reverb is closing down their vinyl store the 28th, I think, of February. So you can still buy from us and get the same, great service, great products, and great prices if you go to Discogs. And we are the record mule on Discogs. So same thing, and maybe even more selection, right?
I think so, yeah. There's certain things.
But anyway, so yeah, if you're not local and you can't pop in, you can always buy from us online, and it's all, very reasonable shipping and all that kind of stuff, so you can check it out there. Okay, so now we just have a little pile here of the obvious stuff that, we didn't need to talk about too much because you already know, but it's here. We thought we'd remind you. So again, if you're just wanting to buy some music for somebody that you're just, hey, I like you. How about the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds? There's a lot of love and happiness on this album, and it's $22.95, and it is a great album. I think you can get that in stereo and mono, same price.
Excellent.
Now, picked for you Beatles Rubber Soul, $21.95. Now, this is, again, a little duality. It's got love and anti-love on it, because you've got great things like...
you got Run for Your Life.
Yes, and that's like,
One of the more eyebrow-raising
yeah,
Beatles
but then,
songs.
you got Girl on there, and Think for Yourself, Norwegian Woods on there. See, it's a real nice
record. Very complex love song.
It really is.
I still don't really know what's going on in that
$21.95 for that one. Okay, now here's Bjork, Homogenic, $24.95. And if you guys have ever heard that song Unravel, it's the third song on this. Wow, it's really, really something. This is a very adventurous and pseudo-erotic kind of album that Bjork came out with. $24.95 if you kind of want the edgier side of things, okay?
That's nice.
And now I think that this is The Cure, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, $35.95. It's a double. I think the definitive choice would have been Disintegration, because that's really their biggest sort of love songs album, but I'm sorry we're out of it at the moment. But
too.
It
I
is a
think
good
very
pick. There's a lot of great stuff on there too.
cover alone.
So if you kind of want the more, I don't know, 80s vibe, goth kind of stuff, here you go, $35.95. All right, Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. Now, even if you guys are not particularly into jazz, everybody should own this record, and it lends itself to pretty much every occasion, and especially romantic occasions. So you're welcome. $17.95. Now we've got Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On, very obvious one, but you know what? There's a reason for stereotypes, right? Because
Exactly.
it's that good, and it's $15.95. So
Many people do it better than Marvin.
that's right, or did, we should say.
That's true.
All right, here we go. Al Green's Greatest Hits, $18.95. Now you would automatically kind of think maybe Let's Stay Together, but you get so much more on this. I mean, gosh, this is the way to go with the greatest hits. It's got everything on here. It's like Tired of Being Alone, Let's Stay Together is on there. You Ought to Be With Me is on there. Let's Get Married is on there. Hit after hit, because it is the greatest hits. Okay, $18.95. And obviously the choice for John Lennon would have been Double Fantasy, but again, haven't got it, so I picked the Wedding album for you. And this is just a thing that John and Yoko worked on together, another one of their big projects. $34.95 for this deluxe box set edition of that, okay? Oh, here we go. Massive Attack Mezzanine, $28.95. You know, it's got Elizabeth Fraser from the Cocteau Twins doing vocals with this, and the other guy who's like a reggae guy, right? Forget his name off the top of my head. Wow, this is a really, again, the vibe is very romantic on this album. $28.95.
Beautiful.
Okay, again, very obvious. Sade Best Of.
Classic
You could pretty much pick any Sade album because it is kind of in that genre of lovers rock. You know, it's kind of weird to think she's only ever produced 6 albums, but you know, each one of them, she can do anything she wants, because if she tours, it's going to sell out completely. Her albums sell over and over and over again. She's doing it right, man. She doesn't have to work too hard. $33.95.
I think Best Of's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, again, it's kind of got everything you'd ever want there. Okay, now we got Frank Sinatra, Sinatra in Love, $24.95. It's another one of, yep, all the way that Frank can do it. Okay. This is a various, it's Moonlight in the 50s for $15.95. And Cass, why don't you just tell a few of the artists that are on that?
See, we got Elvis, Bobby Darin, Brenda Lee, Johnny Mathis, Platters, Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke has a lot of great love songs.
Yeah.
Conway Twitty, Connie Francis, Shirelles.
See, so it's got all that kind of stuff on it.
Stuff.
And how many songs are on that? Does it say?
22.
22 for $15.95. That's not a bad deal.
Not bad.
Okay, and now, well, here we go. The Walrus of Love, Barry White. Songs for Someone You Love, $22.95. And again, Barry White's one of those, you could probably pick any of his stuff. I think, you know, we have the Love Unlimited Orchestra stuff and all that kind of thing. So this, $22.95 for Barry White. And finally, the XX, that first album that is just called XX, $20.95. And something about Oliver's like kind of lazy delivery. He's got a very sexy voice too, and it's like that.
Very low, very baritone.
Yeah, but you know, it's got that vibe that we keep talking about, right? So this is another really good one, and I guess somewhat honorable mentions. You could say Beach House, Depression Cherry would have been good. Cocteau Twins, Love Over Las Vegas. Depeche Mode, Violator would be another good one. Local Natives, Violet Street. Oh, and if you know you liked the sweethearts of the punk rock era, X, you know, Los Angeles, that is all about their life, and you know, it's kind of a love song to each other because John Doe and Exene wrote the stuff. So, you know, love that record. We also have these CD compilations here. This is, how much is that one?
$8.99.
That's just
Platinum love songs.
like 3 discs for $8.99, and it's kind of the same thing as almost like that Various album. It's those kind of artists, right?
Yeah, looks really good.
And this one is, oh, for you, you might like this, $8.99.
Yeah,
This is 75 original country love songs. But again, you get 3 discs of like, you know, 25 songs on each disc. So that's 75 songs for $8.99, and you know, it's kind of got, you know, a lot of the old school artists on it. So it's not new country, it's the older stuff, okay?
Got 100 greatest love songs, kind of similar to the other one. $9.99.
But
this is
4
4
discs.
discs, so a lot of love songs
See,
for you there.
all right, so come on in if you want, or order up from Discogs, or you can still look for our stuff on Reverb right now. Anyway, we'll be back on Friday with the actual new releases. This is just like giving you a jump ahead of Valentine's Day to let you know what's in the way of gift giving, okay?
And don't forget, Tame Impala comes out on Valentine's
That's
Day,
right.
so that's going to be a good gift for
That's
everybody.
right. And I feel like, I thought, well, we might have to argue over that, but I'm going to be the better person, and I am going to let you use
We
that.
can do a dual pick. I think that's one of those that's just
Yeah,
too
well,
powerful for,
possibly.
I think we both got to talk
I
about
think
it.
you could chime in a little. Sure. Okay. Well, anyway, I look forward to that. But anyway, we'll see you guys back here on Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.